started, and let me mute everyone.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
You're good.
We're starting the Daf Chavav Amud Aleph. Should be a schus for Refuah Shlema for Shlomo ben Esther Rachel. Should have a complete Refuah Shlema.
Name.
So the Gemara says we left off on top. We could have left another couple cases. 3 lines from the top on Chavav Amud Aleph. Now comes a Munda Maisa. I'll just read it and explain it. I'm not gonna. Was not ma'ayin into the sugya, but so it says Hay Chamsa Dahavi Sunny Le Kalosa. There was a mother-in-law. She did not like her daughter-in-law. So Amrullah, she told her, Zil ikashe b'mishcha de parsama. Go ahead and basically, perfume yourself with balsam oil. We just learned that balsam oil should not be used on Shabbos. Why is that? Because it's very flammable and it's dangerous. So she said, go ahead and perfume yourself, put balsam oil, I guess, all over your body. Azli's kashi. So she went ahead and she put it on herself. So Kiyaz is Amrullah, Zili Isli Shraga. She said, then her mother-in-law told her, hey, go ahead and light a candle, light some candles, you need some light. Azla Shraga Inapach Be Nura Ve'achalta. So she went ahead and she lit her candles to light candles. And basically, as she did that, then the fire, basically came out and consumed her and killed her. So that was the Maisa of between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. So warning to all you daughter-in-laws out there. Anyways, a little more on this, just it's a darshaning. The pasuk, the Gemara brings a pasuk from. You just gotta find it on the side. Pasuk from Yirmiyah says over there, "Midolos haaretz hishir nevizraden rab tavachim lekarmim liyogvim." So it says over there, and from the poor of the land did nevizraden he left over, right? He was like the chief butcher, right? The Nevizradim, the killer, the Karmim, he left over the Karmim and the Yogvim. Who are the Karmim and the Yogvim? So Karmim Tani Rav Yosef Elu Malakte Persaman Ma'ain Gedi Ve'ad Ramasa. Right. So that was the people who used to go ahead and gather the balsam, right? The different balsam I get planned for the oil. You say from En Gedi up until Ramsa, another location. And the Yogvim Elut Saide Chilazon Misulmas Shel Tzur V'Yad Chef. And those are the trappers of Chilazon, which is used for the dye, the blue dye, for Tchelas. So therefore, they would go ahead and trap them. And so in other words, those are only available there. So therefore, Nevizradim basically left those people behind in order for them to go ahead and be able to, to collect together to be able to create this, the Tchelas. Fine. 2 dots, Chavav and Aleph. Look at it. Taner Rabbanan. Oh, it's open. Taner Rabbanan ein madlikin betevel tamei. So now we have a new concept. New concept. We'll call it not new, but tevel. So we discussed truma. So now, what is truma? Truma is something that you separate from your crops, and you give approximately 1/50, 2% to the kohanim. So that the crops prior to you taking it, right, is called tevel. So this basically, the tevel is unusable, right? Because the way to use your crops, be able to eat from your crops or sell whatever you want to do with it, is to take some portion and give it to the kohanim and to matanos kahuna, and then the rest of it goes. Then you can go ahead and use it, but you can't use it until you go ahead and take truma. So that what you can't use is called tevel. So we say, let's say emad ligim tevel tameis. Now let's abachol vein tzirchlam b'Shabbos. So fruit, as we mentioned, can come mekabel tuma. So if it comes in contact, it is possible for your tevel prior to your crops, prior to you taking truma, for your tevel to become tamei. So let's say it becomes tamei. So says the brisa, you can't go ahead and light it. You're not allowed to go ahead and light it during the week, and certainly you can't light it on Shabbos. In other words, you're not allowed to go ahead and burn it. You can't burn your tevel. Similarly, a malikin ben nafet lavan v'chol. You can't white nafet. You can't go ahead and light during the week. We'll soon explain that. And Shabbos, and certainly can't do it Shabbos. So now we're going to explain the brisa. So
what is a person supposed to do with his tevel if it becomes tamei?
So we'll soon see. We'll soon see. Let's see. We say over here the neif lavan, he's not supposed to get and light it during the week, and certainly on Shabbos. It's very flammable. It's very flammable, and therefore we don't want something to become dangerous and light it in the home. You shouldn't light it. About tevel tummy, my time, but tevel tummy, why should you not? So Amar Kar the pasuk says, "V'ani hinei nasati l'cha es mishmeres chumasai." Behold, I have given you, right, the safeguard of my trumas, right? Trumasai is plural, is two of them, two trumas. The state trumas are kazmadaber. So the Torah mentions that he gave over to the Kohanim two types of trumas, right? Achas truma tahira, achas truma tameya. One is truma tahira, that was truma tameya. And ma truma tahira ein lecha ba el mishas harama ve'elech. And just like truma tahira, when you go ahead and you give when did the Kohanim get it? The only Kohanim only get the truma. They're able to use the truma after it is being tirim, after it is being separated. After truma tameya ein lecha ba el mishas harama ve'elech. So too, truma tamei is also not usable until after you go ahead and separate it. So therefore, even though your tevel becomes tameya, right? So nevertheless, you still have to go ahead and separate it, and then you can go ahead and burn it and burn the, it's tevel's tamei, and then you remove it, and then you can go ahead and use the truma tameya. So we did mention before, you can't give truma tameya to the Kohen. You only give something with lecha, right? So we mentioned that. So I was thinking, that pasuk over there was talking about, is if you have your crops are tahor and you take from the tahor truma tameya to give to the Kohen. So that you shouldn't do. That you should go ahead and give him truma tahira. But if everything is tamei, so what are you going to do? Then obviously you can't burn it right now because it's tevel. So then you can go ahead and separate the truma. Now it's truma tameya. That truma tameya should be burned, and then the rest of the stuff, I guess, is considered to be tameya. And you can do is that there is no obligation to go ahead and burn tamei produce. Just you can't go ahead and eat it the batar. Fine. Two dots. Gufa, Rabbi Shimon Alzar Omer, ein madlikin b'tzari. So he says over there, you can't go ahead and light and use balsam. Rabbi Shimon Alzar Omer, tzari ein ala sraf me'atze haktaf. So also he's referring to balsams from the balsam plant, the tree. Or balsam tree. And Rabbi Shmuel Omer, kol yitzim and eitz ein madlikin bo. Anything that comes from the tree, you can't go ahead and light from there. Rabbi Shmuel ben Baruch Omer, ein madlikin ela b'yotzim in a pri. Only things that come from the fruits. You can go ahead and not from the tree itself, not from the saps and stuff. You can go ahead and light from the fruits. Rabbi Tarfon Omer, ein madlikin ela b'shemen zayis bilvan. Says Rabbi Tarfon, only go ahead and light from shemen zayis bilvan. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri al Ragla Omar Mayaseh. So it says Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri stood on his feet and he said, Mayaseh Anshe Bavel Shein Lahem Ella Shemen Shumshmin. What can the people of Bavel do? All they have is sesame there. They don't have olives. They only have sesame there. The people of Madi only have nut juice or nut oil. They only have radish oil in Alexandria. Right? All they have is nafta, which we said actually wasn't good at all. Ella, rather they said right? Rather, the only restrictions are that which is listed in our Mishnah, right? Those different fuels, which we did not continue explaining yet. We only got to a couple of them so far. But those things that we mentioned that you can't go ahead are only things that are listed in our Mishnah. Everything else, you can go ahead. So if you have shumshmin or you have these other oils, all right, then they would be, anything that's not listed in our Mishnah would be permitted. Umalikin b'shemen dogim. And you can go ahead and be madlik b'shemen dogim with oils from a fish of itra, and also use itra. You're allowed to go ahead and use that, and even though, despite the fact that it was mentioned in our Mishnah, you can still use that. And Rabbi Shimon b'shazuri Omer madlikim b'shem pekuos benefit. So he says you can go ahead and use shem pekuos benefit, right? Shem pekuos, I think, was we said earlier. I think it was from the was a type of like what's it called, gourd. I think it was mentioned over there of benefit. And over there also, which is very flammable, you're still allowed to use it, right? And says Sumchus, anything that comes from the flesh, you can't go ahead and light, except for the oil of fish. Now, anything that comes from an animal or anything like that, those oils you can't use, but only from fish, even despite the fact that it's considered to be like basar, right? You can go ahead and use fish oil. And Sumchus and Tanakama, because they both say that you're allowed to go ahead and only use fish oil and nothing else, or nothing else from animals, that which comes from tree, and also fish. So once again, the Gemara says, now, Ikabanayu derav Bruna Amarav loy misayim. But not going to be that which Rav Bruna Amarav says, but we don't know which one says which. Rav Bruna Amarav, if you recall, he was the one who said that you're allowed to go ahead and add a good oil with the the shem and dog, and then use that together on Shabbos. But we don't know who was the one who mated it, whether it was Rabbi Yochanan Nuri or whether it was Sumchus. One of them was the mater, and the other one says no. Even despite the fact they're mixed together, and it should go ahead and fuel the wick properly, nevertheless it would be forbidden. Fine. Now we come to part 2 of today's shir. So Tanya, we learned in the Brisa 3 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer Kol hayotzim min ha'etz ein bo mishum shalosh al shalosh. So first of all, we have to learn a little Hebrew dikduk. Now there's 2 things. There's normally with numbers and zachar and nekeva. Usually, even though the hey at the end of a word is normally nekeva, but when it comes to numbers, it's actually opposite. So the word shalosh al shalosh can refer to 2 things here, as we're soon to see. We're these shalosh al shalosh and shlosha al shlosha. So shalosh al shalosh is, despite the fact there's no hey, it refers to the feminine word, which is etzbos, right? Etzba. Etzba is in the keva. So therefore, the way to say 3 etzbos is shalosh. So when it says in our Gemara shalosh al shalosh, it's referring to 3 etzbos, 3 fingers with the, which is only this amount. However, and then we'll soon see later on, it says shlosha al shlosha, it's referring to a tefach, 3 by 3 tefachim, which is much larger, which is wider. Now, says the Gemara. So Tanya Rosh Hashanah, Kol yatzim and eitz ein bo mishum shalosh al shalosh u'mesachim bo. Anything that comes from a tree or a plant, and there is no halacha by it of 3 by 3. In other words, the halacha is by tuma that something which is 3 by 3 is maybe considered to be useful, and therefore it can be almost like in the parsha of a beged, we'll soon see, and therefore it would become susceptible to tuma. But we learn over here anything that comes from a tree, despite the fact that it's large enough that it's 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos, right? If it's that, right? Despite that fact, nevertheless, we say that it does not become tameh, and since it's not tameh, the halachas by sukkah is for schach. It can't be something which is makabel tuma. Therefore, you can go ahead and use it to mesachik your sukkah. However, chutz mi pishtin, except for flax. Flax is an exception. All right, flax is an exception, even despite the fact it grows from the earth. Nevertheless, it is something that it is makabel tuma in 3 by 3. Okay, so that's what he said there. And Amar Abaye says Abaye. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, who just mentioned, the Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel, Amar Dovaracha, they say the same thing. Basically, they both say the same point that linen or pishtin is going to be makabel tuma. Pishtin is going to be makabel tuma if it's 3 by 3.
Oh wait, I'm not following. Something
Why
that grows
is
from the
different from
ground.
everybody else?
What is it? What's that, Eddie?
Something that grows. If it's 3 by 3 etzbos, it does not, because it grows from the ground.
Not makabel
It
tuma.
is not considered something that is makabel tuma, even if it's 3 by 3.
Correct,
Even if
right.
it's large.
Right. 3 by 3
Except
or
for
larger.
flax.
Right, exactly. Right. Right now, we don't know anything that grows on the ground is not tameh. Right now, the only sizes we know are something which is 3 by 3. It sounds like flax is tameh, which is 3 by 3, and that's all we know. But everything else is not makabel tuma. Okay, that's all we said so far. Now we say that was Reb Shimon ben Elazar, and now we say says Abaye. Abaye is going to say, he's going to argue with Rava soon. Abaye says Reb Shimon ben Elazar says the same thing as Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel. And what is that? The same thing as Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel. So he says Amar Deberachat Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Had Amar, and that which you just said. And Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel. Mahi, what do they say? What's the Brisa of Rabbi Shmuel? It says Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel Hoil v'nemru begadim b'toira stam. So it says over there by Matzora, by Tsaras, it says there begadim. It says stam. It says beged. Right? It doesn't say what kind. And then it says later on in the pasuk, it says semer upishtim. Right? Semer upishtim is semer is wool. Okay, that comes from animal. Pishtim, flax, linen, same thing as ours. Right? So right, remember pishtim, right, was what we said in the case of there. So in other words, that's included in something that's unique. That then says over there wool and linen, malol and semer pishtin, just like over there by tumas semer pishtin, avchot semer pishtin. So too anything is semer pishtin. So what do you see over here? That semer pishtin is makabel tuma. So it sounds like over here, according to Abai, it's the same thing. In other words, tzemer, right, or tzemer wool and pishtin, right, this linen over here, or the flax, is makabel tuma, because only wool and linen can be makabel tuma. And so too, the flax is makabel tuma here, and the flax is makabel tuma in the Brisa of Shimon Elazar, and they both agree that any sort of flax is makabel tuma when it's 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos. So according to Abai, they say the same thing. 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos, they're makabel tuma, and nothing else is makabel tuma that grows on the ground.
That's because when it's the size of 3 by 3, it already qualifies as a beged.
It's usable by aniyim.
As a beged, and because it's usable as a beged, then it's can be makabel tuma. Therefore, you cannot use it as chaf. Right?
I just
I didn't understand this question.
In other words,
over there when we
okay,
say it's
because
3 I forgot it. No.
yeah, because
I'm just trying to.
if it's 3 by 3,
technicality.
it qualifies as a beged, and because it's
3
a
by 3
beged,
is definitely
because
right,
it's a
called
beged. Yeah, but it grows from the ground, and because it's 3 by 3 and it qualifies as a beged, therefore you cannot use it as chaf.
right. So forget schach right now. We're just talking about schach goes hand in hand, because if it's makabel tuma, you can't use it for schach. If it's
And
not
that's what we've been
makabel,
dealing with. Yeah,
well, we're just talking about the tuma aspect, right? Just we'll leave schach out.
it can be
Just talk about
makabel
aspect,
tuma.
right. But therefore, both of them are both the ones we just said, according to Abaye, are makabel tuma. However, Rava says no, not so fast. Rava says like this, no. Shloisha b'shar begadim ika b'nayu. Says no. Other materials, right? Besides wool and linen, any other material, even stuff that grows, if it's 3 shloisha al shlosha, right, which you said is 3 by 3 tvachim, so which is larger. So a larger piece of other materials is makabel tuma. Till now, we thought that anything which is other materials are not makabel tuma at all. Says over here, no. Once it's 3 by 3 tvachim, then it's makabel tuma. Let's see why. There's Shimon Elazar Islay. According to Shimon Elazar, he says yes, that's the case. And Tana Mishal, let's say, according to Tana Mishal, no, even 3 by 3 tvachim is not makabel tuma and shar begadim. Why? Let's see. Everyone holds shalosh. Now we're going to explain the reasons. So everyone holds at 3 by 3 etzbos in case of wool, and flax is metame benegon from where minolan. So the Tanya in the Brisa says beged. It says over there a beged is makabel tuma. Ainly ela beged. I only know a beged, right? Shalosh minayin. So therefore, this is sort of I disagree with what Eddie said before, because we see over here that beged is one thing. Well, you wear a beged, right? You can't wear something literally that's this big, right? But it's still useful. So even though it's not a beged technically, it's still useful. And once it's useful, it's makabel tuma. But anyways, so that was just on a technical point. Ella, so shalosh minayin. How do you know that semer pishtin wool or flax, which is 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos, is mitame minayin tamaloy? Therefore, it says v'ha beged. It says the extra words v'ha beged, right? It's inclusive, right? V'ha beged. So v'ha beged comes to go ahead and include even tzemer pishtim, which is the size of 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos. So the Gemara says, "I v'im l'rabbos shaloisha al shalosha." Maybe it comes to go ahead and include 3 tvachim by 3 tvachim. Where now is why do you go to the small size, the size of 3 by 3 etzbos? Go to the large size of 3 begadim of 3 tvachim by 3 tvachim. So the Gemara says, no, I don't need a pasuk v'habeged, extra words in the pasuk to teach me that. Why? So lav kavachemer, it's a kavachemer. Hasha shasi v'yavred metame. So in the pasuk, right? If you read the pasuk, which is listed, those are the articles on the side, it says zayis taras negat saras beged hatsemer o hapishtim o hashasi arik. So it says over there shasi arik, which is basically in the beginning of when things are woven. Right, the one goes up, and then it goes in the woof and the warp, and it goes upside. But it says over there that those are makabel, even if it's not a beged yet. So if those things are makabel, shloisha mi boys, those things are made of wool and flax, they're makabel tuma. Do you need to tell me that something which is 3 by 3 tefachim are makabel tuma? Of course you don't need to, right? It's a kabel chaimer. So therefore, I don't need the habega, the drasha of the habega, come and teach me that something which is 3 by 3 tefachim is makabel tuma. I'm going to use that as a drasha to tell me that something which is 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos is makabel tuma. So the Gemara says ihaki shalosh shalosh nami lisa makabel chaimer. If that's the case, maybe you can say also it's a kabel chaimer to learn 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos. So Ella shloisha dechazu. Rather, it was said like this: since 3 by 3 tefachim, which is usable for whether you're poor or whether you're wealthy, it's a use for everybody. There we can learn a kavachimer. However, shlosh, but 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos, la'anim who did the chazin, la'ashir lo chazin. It's only fit for use for a poor person, but a rich person would not use that. He would just throw that away. That little shmata, it's not even useful. So la'asif kavachimer. Therefore, we can't learn a kavachimer, and therefore, tamad the kasav kra, tamad the kasav kra. Therefore, it says in the pasuk, it says over there, "V'habeged halo kasav kra lo gimrim kavachimer." But if it was not for the pasuk, then we would not be able to learn for the kavachimer case of 3 etzbos with 3 etzbos. So right now, where we stand, case of linen is learned out even from kavachimer if it's 3 tefachim, and even if it's less, it's 3 etzbos by 3 etzbos. It's learned out from the extra word v'habeged. But we only learn semer pishtim. We don't learn any other materials. So Gemara says. So maybe the word v'habeg, it doesn't come to tell you also a din in v'habeg. It comes to include other begadim, even something which is small 3 by 3 etzbos. Maybe it's coming to teach you the large size, 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim, but with other materials. B'shar begadim, and that's we're not coming to include even a smaller size. It's really the larger size, but a different material. So the Amar Kra, the pasuk says beged semer pishtim, beged semer pishtim. In midi achrini lo. It says so there are two pasuk beged pishtim, right? One pasuk is veiker yigimel mem zayin. The other pasuk is veiker yigimel mem tes, right? One pasuk says vabeg kiyabo neged saras beged semer beged pishtim, and then it says another time zois taras neged saras beged hat semer or ha pishtim. So it says it twice. Since it says it twice, therefore it's dafka semer pishtim, dafka wool and linen or flax. In midi achrini lo. So the Gemara says, "I ve'ema kimei shalosh al shalosh, aval shalosh shalosh mitame." So he says over there. So maybe that which would be made is only 3 by 3, but if it's 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim, it would still be mitame and other materials. So shremiotik sivi beged semer beged pishtin, right? Therefore, it says it twice, as I just mentioned, right? So one time for right? So one time of semer pishtin comes to exclude other materials on 3 by 3 tefachim, and the second time I mentioned it is to exclude 3 by 3 etzbos that shar begadim are never tummy. Now, according to this, right? What do we see over here? So therefore we see, according to the first pin of Shon ben Elzar, he held according to Rava, right? This is all according to Rava. Remember, because according to Abaye, they both agree. Shon ben Elzar and Tana de Rishon both agree. So according to Abaye, or according to Rava, according to Rava, Rav Shon ben Elzar held that other materials are matame 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim, but according to Tana de Rishon, as we just proved, that no, since there's 2 miyutim in the psukim, it says it twice. Therefore, anytime it says semer pishtim comes to include other materials. Therefore, other materials are not even matame, even when it comes to 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim.
Why not 4 by 4?
What is it?
Why 3 by 3, not 4 by 4?
3 by 3 is the halacha l'moshe misina, as that is the minimum size as to what we talk about makabel tuma for a beged. It's 3, different things that measurements have different sizes when it comes to the materials and clothing. Cloth is 3 by 3. Well, the Rava, a couple more lines. So according to Rava, who said that 3 by 3 tefachim with other materials is the difference between Rabbi Shon ben Elzar and that Tana de Rishon. As Tana de Rishon just taught that it's still not tummy. So the Rabbi Shon ben Elzar Islay, Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, as I said earlier, Rabbi Shon ben Elzar holds that Ashar Begadim are matame. But Tana de Shmuel, as we just taught last like the Shleisha, so they are not makabel tuma 3 by 3 tefachim. So b'shar begadim minolei. So he says, how does he know that? So we'll just do one line. So nafka me o beged. So the pasuk over there says o beged. Since the extra word o beged, the Tanya we learn in Brisa beged ain't liela beged. I only know beged shloish b'shar begadim minayin. How do we know other clothing and other materials? Therefore it says o beged. Therefore it says the word o beged to come and include even shar begadim Ar Mikabel Tuma 3x3 Tfachim, and the Gemara appears to go, continue with this discussion, and I guess we'll stop here. Everyone should have a wonderful day, and Avrami, I got you out of here before 8 o'clock.
Shkocha.